My effort to fight the male loneliness epidemic, I promise you, if you follow these 4 steps to a T, you will end up with more girls' numbers in your phone than you have family and friends as contacts. And if you love girls, I promise you that feeling like you're a playboy is a top 10 feeling as a man. That's why they always show successful rich guys in movies as being ladies' men. Because even if you got rich, what good would it be if you couldn't get more girls to want you? So, step one is the hardest to adopt, but once you get it down, you'll already be 50% better at getting girls. For step one, I need you to adopt a new mindset. You have to rewire your brain to know rejection is okay. The thing that stops most guys from walking up to girls they like is fear of rejection. But you've got to understand and accept rejection is part of the game. It's not coping or anything like that, it's reality, bro. Because, first and foremost, getting girls is a numbers game. If you want 10 new girls in your life, you may have to talk to 100 girls for that to happen. I know the return on investment of that seems bad, but let me give you an analogy with sports. The World Cup ended, and the two biggest players in the sport is Messi and Ronaldo. Do you know what their goal percentage is? To make 950 goals throughout his whole career, Ronaldo has had to shoot 5,160 times, which is 18%. For Messi, he had to shoot 4,080 times to make 882 goals, which is 22%. And that's why, Messi is a GOAT. I'm just kidding. They're both GOATs in their sport. But guess what that means? It simply means for every 100 goals they take, only 18 go in and 22 go in, respectively. And then, my other example is Steph Curry. The world's greatest 3 point shooter in history is only 43% on 3 points. Okay? So, 43 of the 100 shots he takes at the 3 point line goes in. So, think about it like this: these athletes who are considered the world's best scorers in their sport spend 8+ hours a day. So, for example, when you're at school or at work, they're on the field and in the court practicing all day just to have a percentage in shots made that would be considered a flunking for test on an A to F scale. Oh, and let's not forget, they are literally spending their lives trying to control an inanimate object, which is the ball they use for their sport. The ball has no thoughts because the ball has no conscience and no character. And the athlete still can't control scoring every time on something without a pulse. So, why would you expect to be able to control how a conversation goes with a girl who has her own thoughts and her own character? It's supposed to be harder, and therefore your chances of success with getting numbers is going to be lower than it is for athletes to score. You're dealing with humans. You can't control every interaction with humans. It's impossible. If you saw Clavicular in France, who makes a living trying to be handsome for views, he was getting rejected and roasted by girls all throughout France. And he's someone who the internet considers good looking, and he's obviously rich, but guess what? He gets rejected a lot too. All the other pickup artists you see on YouTube also spend the whole day getting rejected just to hopefully get 5 to 10 interactions to clip together to show you they have game. But they probably had to talk to 75 girls just for that video. And if you've ever noticed in the videos, the shadows as the videos play out get longer. You know why? Because the sun is setting, meaning they have been out there for hours trying to get girls' numbers. So nut up and remind yourself every moment you go approach a girl, there's a very high chance you get rejected. To get 5 new real numbers, you may have to talk to 50 girls. And it's okay, man. It's real life. It's not a Disney movie. In fact, my personal method is before I approach a girl or a group of them, I drop all expectations, and rejection is a part of it. Obviously, I hope it goes well, but I don't pressure myself to feel like it needs to go well. Sometimes it's going to be awkward as hell. Sometimes it's great. You can never know for sure. And the other part of dropping expectations for myself is, of course, not expecting for her to give me her number. If you can't accept rejection, just stay on the porch with the little dogs and let the big dogs run out in the field and herd all the hoes. Oops, I mean sheep. But seriously, once you master this emotion of being okay with rejection, you're already 50% better than your friends or any other guy. Because while they stand there, frozen, getting butterflies in their stomach because they're afraid of what the girls may say or how people will laugh at them, you'll actually have the balls to go try and won't care if people laugh or she rejects you because you were already at peace with that result. But you're 50% better because to score, you have to shoot, and eventually you'll get a point with enough attempts. That's the game. Now, before I say step two, there's a few things we have to get right before you try being a player. One, make the hair on your skull look neat. Get a lineup. It's cheaper than a full blown haircut if you can't afford it, and even better, you can learn to line your own hair up since they have tools now you can use to trace along with your clippers. So, hairs on your head and hair on your face, beard, mustache, all that. Make it look kempt and neat. Even if you're bald, Mr. Clean that dome. Don't walk around looking like Trevor from GTA. Now, style? I'm not a fashion guru, but a very basic way to style yourself is to know either your pants or your shirt has to match your shoes. So, for example, maybe you have black shoes. You can wear black jeans or black shorts and a white tee. Or you can wear white shoes, black pants, and a white tee. Simple, right? If you're age 15 to 22, well, you're actually kind of lucky because if you go to your mom right now and let her know you want to revamp your style to try to get a girlfriend, your mom will happily take you shopping and spend lots of money on you by convincing your dad to give you guys a shopping allowance. So now you get a whole new wardrobe and you probably don't know it, but it will make your mom stay because she will take pride in knowing you're so chill with her. You turn to her for help with girls. And trust me, your mom misses hanging out with you when she would take you shopping, so it's a win-win. If you're 23 and older, you're probably out of college or you are already working a job already, so you'll probably have to do your own shopping, but you can still try to ask your mom to help you choose clothes that fit well. And I'm just saying mom because most people have one. If you have friends that are girls, then ask them to go with you to pick out fits and shoes. And final prerequisite, find a good scent. Personally, I use Old Spice body wash and their deodorant sticks, and I have my go to colognes, but I'm going to gatekeep those because I can't let you get more girls than the master, you know? But again, this is something where at any age you can tell your mom to help you get a good cologne for yourself, and she may just take you to Dillard's or Macy's and buy one for you. You can even find some good ones at Marshall's or Ross, which will be cheaper. Worst case scenario, just choose one of the Axe sprays at Walmart or whatever store you go to. Breath is a scent too, right? So brush your teeth every day, and if you're a player like me and you keep a toothbrush and toothpaste in your pimp bag or a car that you use after every time you eat or drink. I just brush my teeth in my car and spit it out in the grass. And I'm so pimp, I have a mouthwash too I used to rinse. Worst case scenario, if I'm with the boys and there's no way to brush my teeth, I always have a pack of gum on me, which you can use to break ice with a girl. Because if you're talking with somebody and it's chill vibes and you offer them a piece of gum, they almost always say yes. And these are the basics that you should have done before you even try to go and talk to a girl or a group of girls. So, okay, you've rewired your brain to think rejection is okay. Now for step two. You have to get good at scouting. Basically, get an eagle eye for getting reads on which girls are approachable. It's actually pretty easy. And any sort of mall or shopping outlets is a great place to practice, which is what I personally did. One example is you may see a girl walking around kind of slow and aimlessly like she doesn't have anywhere to go. Well, boom. That means she wouldn't try to rush your convo. So she will be more likely to at least hear you out. That's for if you see her alone. If she's with a group, it's a little bit harder because the group usually has a leader and they move at the leader's pace and not their own. So what you should look for when it's a group is see if you see them peeking at other guys when they're passing by. And you may even notice one of the girls say something, then the group looks toward the guy. That means they were definitely checking him out. And obviously, if you notice the group looks toward your way and possibly one of the girls kind of holds a look with you, like an extra second or two longer than the rest of the girls, that's the one you should approach in the group. Especially 1,000,000% if she smiled or seems nervous you caught her looking at you. Another thing for scouting is reading the room. Are the group of girls being loud? That means they want to be noticed. They know their chatter makes people look at them. Girls aren't dumb. Most things they do in public is very intentional. So obviously the opposite thing of that is if they're kind of quiet and keeping amongst themselves, it's probably just a girl's day shopping. They really don't want to be bothered. But yeah, the girls that are being loud, If you think girls walk by a group of guys and start laughing like hyenas by coincidence, you're completely wrong. It's not that way, big dog. They're doing that because they're choosing and want the guys to look over. So if it happens to your group of friends, that's a 100% green light. You guys should introduce yourself. If you're by yourself, they may or may not do that. But again, it goes back to, did you notice them looking over at you and hear them have some sort of chatter? Then chances are one of them thinks you're cute. And finally, the way they choose to dress. I like to say, if they're skin, you can win. By that I mean, is she dressed kind of revealing? Is she showing her ass, swinging her hips with each step? Does she have a crop top and she's showing some of her midriff, her belly? Is the cut of her shirt a little too deep? Again, most girls know what they're doing when they're out in public. She wants people to look. And looking doesn't mean staring, it just means noticing. Do not stare at any woman because that is really creepy. But a quick 2 to 3 second look over and eye contact is enough for her to know you noticed her, and it doesn't mean you have to go say something to her right away if she's far away from you. Because, after all, hawking a girl down from the other side of the mall would be mega creepy. You can always look around and wait for the second time you guys pass each other to say something. But if she's in the same lane as you and you're about to pass each other, then say something in that moment when you guys get close, because there's always the chance you don't have a second time to decide to speak to her ever again. It sounds dramatic, but it's true. Again, life is not a movie. You're not going to randomly run into her 3 days later. Speaking of approaching her, we finally get into the game by using step 3 and also step 4. Since they go hand in hand, because number 3 is approach and number 4 is closing the deal. This is the part that really makes most guys freeze up or walk away. Like, I have friends who love playing football, who love fighting. I'm talking legitimately tough guys who would blush and make excuses when it was their turn to go try to get a number. But guess what? You're okay with rejection because you even expect it, knowing it's just part of the game. That's why I told you 50% is having the mindset. So before I approach a girl, I already know what my icebreaker line will be, and then I just plan to wing the rest of the conversation. You've got to know the way you approach a girl by herself is different than if she's in a group. So let me go over how to approach her in a group first, since it's easier to pull off. The easy thing about approaching a group is that since they're with their friends, their guard isn't so high, meaning they won't feel so nervous because they know they have their friends for backup. So at the very least, you'll get some sort of interaction. The con is that there may be a girl in the group who rooster blocks, but that's why my advice I'm about to give is very important. When you walk up to the group, greet each girl with a handshake and holding eye contact. Now, what I would do immediately after is compliment the whole group, because this will help you get on the good side of the girl who usually rooster blocks. So, while making sure to look at each girl while talking, and you have to look at every girl because you don't want to make it too obvious who you're there for. And obviously, maybe you want to do a little extra look at the girl you're there for, but don't make it too obvious. Because the other friends, maybe they didn't look at you initially, but it also could have been because they didn't notice you yet. So you want to keep your options open. So for my compliment, I say something like, it's not every day you see 3 pretty girls in one spot. I just had to come introduce myself. Now, there's something very important I need you to understand. From the moment you say that, that's when the game really starts, because now you're going to have to be quick on picking up social cues, and these cues happen in seconds. A lot of the time it's in milliseconds, so if you aren't paying attention to each girl, you can miss it. Look for the girl who seems excited to reply to what you're saying. The one who put her phone down to make sure she hears you. The one whose pupils got bigger, because it's been scientifically proven if a girl finds you attractive, the black circle in the color of her eyes get bigger. Because that black circle, called the pupil, gets bigger because she likes what she sees, so her eyes respond by trying to get as good of a view of you as possible. It's really easy to notice in girls with light colored eyes that are like blue, green, or hazel, but it only applies if you're not somewhere bright. like outside in the afternoon because they will stay small since the sun is bright, and at night they naturally get bigger to see in the dark easier. So the pupil signals is really for when you're inside buildings. But the other cues to look for is things like, is she reaching out and lightly touching your arm or laughing harder than her friends? Do you notice her inching closer to you as you guys talk or cutting off her friends to let you hear her answer first? Or maybe you notice her body is always faced towards you, which is a good sign. She wants you to have a good view of her because she's literally open body language to you, hoping you'll literally be open to choosing her. So, whatever girl in the group you notice giving you any of these green flags, take note of it. So you compliment the girls, which, like I said, is good because the friend who rooster blocks is less likely to stop you from spitting game because you at least made it known to her you think she's pretty. Because the girls who rooster block usually only do it because they get jealous that no guy complimented them or acknowledged them. So it's hard coat for her when you walk up to the prettiest friend who gets hit on every month and she hates seeing her get all the attention. See, I told you guys how to get past what some guys call the fridge. Anyway, after you mention the whole friend group looks good, say anything relevant to the area you're at. Since I'm at the mall, I say something like, are you guys shopping for anything fun coming up, like a concert or a party? And then you just let them respond with whatever, because it really doesn't matter what they say. Again, you're just trying to pick up on cues of who seems interested in the group to continue conversation with you based on how they're answering. Then I say something about myself, like tell them to rate my style and be brutally honest. Again, this is a way to pick up more cues. The girl who likes you may give you a good rating. You take note of that. You ask yourself, was she also giving you other cues to go off, etc., etc. And as they rate it, I'd be finalizing on which girl I'm going to shoot my shot with. I let them all answer and wrap up the convo by saying, alright, I'm sure you girls have more shopping to get to, so I'm going to do my own thing. But hey, blank. For this, let's call her Katie. Hey, Katie, I feel like your style kind of matches my style the most. Because again, when her friends hear you say that, they won't get defensive because you already made it known you think they're all attractive. And so you're only trying to get their friend's number based off her style and not her looks. So you say that to the girl's number you choose to try to get, and voila, she either gives it to you or she doesn't. It really doesn't matter. What does matter is you built up your XP on learning how to approach and entertain random girls you come across. So even if she says no, it's a win. If she says no, I say no problem and walk away with my head still up because I knew it was a probability she would say no. If I do get her number, I'd walk away with my head high the same way I would if I didn't get the number. Only difference is before I'd walk away, I shout out to her friends, make sure she agrees to go to the cute date I planned for her next week. And this would be my icing on the cake, because that means her friends will be reminding her that the guy she met at the mall is planning to do something with her really soon, which would subconsciously make her think about me every day her friends ask about if I've planned the day we're going out for or what we will do. It's really some next level pimping advice I'm giving you right now. Like and subscribe if you feel like you're learning game, or comment your favorite advice you've agreed with so far. Now, let's talk about approaching a girl who's by herself. Since she's by herself, she's going to have her guard up much higher than if she was with a group. That's why I say groups are easier to approach, because they aren't so nervous. It's a mob psychology type of thing. Most girls are shy when they get approached alone, so you have to be very mindful of the distance you keep between each other. So put your arm in front of you up to your shoulder's height, and that should be a good minimum. Obviously, you also don't want to stand 10 feet away from her, but you also don't want to be in her personal space. You need her to be comfortable and feel like she has ways to walk away from the convo if she wants to. I've seen so many guys look like they're cornering the girl, and that is the biggest ick to girls and even people watching. That's the only time when picking up girls gets truly embarrassing, is when you are given off the optic you're desperate to keep her in front of you. If she doesn't want to stay and talk or stop for you, let her go on, bro. Because if you don't, well, the other girls in the mall or wherever you go to pick up girls are going to see that interaction and think you're creepy. And you ruin any possibility of a girl who watched that exchange of giving you a chance. because girls are always watching. I've been caught by a girl I was trying to get a number from because I knew she saw me when she mentioned she bets I say this to all the girls because she saw me getting a girl's number in the food court. But guess what? She still also gave me her number because girls are messy like that. They like knowing other girls want you because it's a social proof to them that you're a desirable guy. So they should be proud if you choose them from all the options you have. Like, bro, if you're not writing down or at least trying to memorize as much as possible of what I'm saying, you're letting the game pass you by. Anyway, distance is kept. She looks comfortable speaking to you, and she doesn't look like she's trying to leave. Then proceed to break the ice. Since I'm a guy who's pretty big, standing at 6'1", 195 pounds, I like to choose the goofy approach to kind of show that I'm not afraid of presenting myself in a lighthearted manner, therefore making myself seem even more non threatening. And with that, I just thought of something for the video I would tell a girl. If you can't come up with anything, you can look up best pickup lines from different years. So Google 20 best pickup lines from 2021 or 2025, 2012. It really doesn't matter. For my example, my opening line would go like this. I tell her, hey, you've got to go out with me sometime so I can prove to my friend who doesn't believe in God that angels do exist. I know. It's cheesy and you may even think it's cringe, but it's the quickest way for you to get a girl to smile. And obviously, if she's religious, it will work really well. Again, you want to look for cues while talking to her. Like, is she leading in, trying to soak up what you're saying? Is she cheesing really hard or blushing? Pupils getting bigger? Did she open up her body language to face you? Is she adjusting her hair or acting extra girly, like rocking her hips as she talks, or laughing, bending over? All good signs. Obviously, you should also look for, is she seeming closed off? Is her body facing away, or basically doing anything opposite of the good signs I said? Then you should just drop the attempt and tell her bye. But if it's all green flags, then keep going. Whatever she would say in response to my pickup line, I would follow up by shaking her hand and saying my name and asking for hers. So ice is broken, formalities are accomplished. So at this point, you can just wing it and ask basic, non creep stuff like, where is she from? Did she grow up in the area? Anything really. It kind of doesn't matter because I only want you to ask her two lighthearted questions, maybe three, and maybe three times at most, and then ask for her number. When you ask for her number, you can wrap it up one of two ways. Ask for it, then tell her bye, you'll keep in touch, or ask for it and then offer to hang out just a little bit longer. It all goes back to how many positive cues did she give you. For me, if it felt average, I'll just tell her it was nice chatting to you, I'll let you go now and text you sometime later. And some guys like to go in for a hug, but because of comfortability, I'd recommend not to. A simple, genuine smile is good enough, maybe a wink to go along with it if you're feeling cocky. If I felt like this girl showed heavy interest in me, like she was so comfortable already with me, she was breaking the touch barrier, or laughing really hard, or standing really close to me after I got her number, I'd ask her if she wants to go share some Auntie Anne's pretzels or any sort of snack in the food court because girls love shopping hungry and they really love food. So most likely she will say yes, and then I just continue talking to her in line and while we ate at a table. After the snacks, I'd probably say something cheesy like, nothing's better than sharing a snack with a snack. Then I'd wrap it up and let her know that little date was fun, and next time I would treat her to a proper date. And then, and only then, would I go in for a hug. And the player I am, I'd reach out for her hand and kiss it and let her know I promise our next date would be more fun. I'll text her sometime next week to set it up. But me going for the hug or the kiss on the hand, it all goes back to, was she the one who was, getting in my personal space first? Was she the one breaking that touch barrier? Because you don't really want to start testing those waters until you're on date 2, date 3. But that'll be a whole different video. There's a whole process to this. This video was more so for you to just focus on how to know how to get a girl's number and what mindset you should have when approaching girls. But yeah, guys, I have given you a very detailed plan on how to get more girls' numbers in your phone with cold approach. I didn't even go into as much detail, And I promise you, I will drop more videos telling you all the fine details to build your game. So if you're interested in picking up girls, subscribe to stay updated with new relevant videos. If you have any tips you want to add or questions you may want answers to, go ahead and put it in the comments and I will respond the best I can. Let's turn you into a playboy, man.